talked pretty tough on Iran. You've also taken credit for working with President Obama on a dual-pronged strategy to deal with that country. Today, America learned there was a shipment of $400 million worth of foreign currency on a secret air cargo flight to that country. Did you know that was coming, and do you approve of it?
Well, the White House has addressed this, and I think actually this is kind of old news. It was first reported about 7 or 8 months ago, as I recall. And so far as I know, it had nothing to do with any kind of hostage swap or any other tit for tat. It was something that was intended to, as I am told, pay back Iran for contracts that were canceled when the Shah fell.
The case in front of The Hague.
That's right.
We were trying to settle. So that being said, do you approve of it? That's a lot of money to fork over to a country that you yourself have said isn't very trustworthy.
Well, look, I think we know that the agreement has put a lid on Iran's nuclear weapons program. I consider that to be a very positive step. We also know that our businesses want to now do business with Iran, and we're taking that very carefully. And we also know that there are outstanding legal challenges by the Iranian government against the United States government and other U.S. interests. So it's all part of the same picture, but the most important thing is that we have, in my view, prevented Iran from racing to getting nuclear weapons, which is very much in America's interests.
All right, news roundup and information overload hour here on the Sean Hannity Show. Toll free, our telephone number is 800-941-SEAN if you want to be a part of the program. That was Hillary promising to raise taxes on the middle class, and of course, liberal, leftist, statist, socialist applauding. And now we've got the issue of ransom. But Hillary was, don't believe what your very eyes tell you. The fact that on the very same day that the hostages were released, $400 million in unmarked bills were put in a cargo plane that's also unmarked and flown to Tehran and given to the Ayatollahs and given to the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. But it had absolutely nothing to do with the release of the hostages. Not one thing. Don't let your eyes deceive you. Anyway, joining us, Chris Hahn of the infamous Chris Hahn radio show, now boasting of 3 affiliates nationwide.
Yes, sir.
And he's on 2 days a week now, not 1, but 2. And
Right.
Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, author of A Battle for the Soul of Islam, an American Muslim patriot's fight to save his faith. All right, so if the Iranian mullahs are accurate, this was a quid pro quo. This was a ransom payment, because that's what they're saying. Now, if President Obama has such a great relationship and Hillary has such a great relationship because she started the negotiations during her tenure as Secretary of State with Mahmoud Adolf Ahmadinejad, then I assume that they would probably trust their great partners who they believe are capable of abiding by this nuclear agreement. So that they say that it was a ransom payment, Chris Hahn of the Chris Hahn Show.
Well, look, this started in 1981 at The Hague. And this was...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, notice my topic has to do with whether or not Obama paid a ransom for the hostages that were released, and he wants to give you a history lesson.
All right, well...
Did Obama pay ransom? Yes or no?
No, he did not.
No, of course not, because you're a liberal and you'll buy any... You'll buy any Kool-Aid they give you. You're drinking it right now. You're swallowing it. You're gulping it.
I have been on with you many times, and you know that I don't always agree with the president.
Yeah, you do. Pretty much.
No, not
when
always.
he really needs you, boy, you're there. You're drinking it. How does that Kool-Aid taste? They put any vodka in that Kool-Aid?
No, I got a little Splenda in my Kool-Aid.
A little Splenda in the Kool-Aid?
I like a low-fat Kool-Aid.
You got,
I can't be short, fat, and bald. So I gotta have something to take the edge off.
When I was a kid, that was like my favorite drink. It's full of sugar. It gets you a little buzz. You run out, you play for hours.
We see what happened to you as a result.
Exactly. The buzz never went away. I'm hyperactive. I admit it.
So look, Sean, if it was a ransom, I obviously am opposed to that. But the president makes a very clear case.
So hang on. So the fact that it happened on the same day is just a mere coincidence.
It didn't happen on the same day.
Oh, yeah, it happened. Oh, excuse me. No. The day they were released, it happened at the exact time. Yes, sir.
There are too many international lawyers that have made it very clear that
and by the way, why did they go to Switzerland and the Netherlands, wherever else they went? Why did they take all these unmarked bills and francs and euros and why did they put it in a little cargo plane without any markings, do you think? Why didn't they put it in a U.S. plane?
Hey, look, I don't know what the banking situation is.
Oh, you don't know it. That actually is called money laundering in the world that I live in and the attorney generals I spoke to. That's called money laundering. If I did that, now imagine me taking out massive amounts of money and putting it in a cargo plane and flying it to Belize or St. Kitts or Nevis. What would happen then?
Well, it depends on what you were doing with that money.
Well, just bringing it down. I just want to, I just want to,
Again, I didn't start the proceedings at The Hague. Ronald Reagan did. And Ronald Reagan wanted to find an equitable solution for paying back the contract that we had with Iran.
And so the bottom line is you believe the propaganda you've been fed. You believe that it's just mere coincidence that happened at the same time, and you're sticking by that.
I believe that as a result of the Iran talks that led to the historic nuclear arrangement.
All right, here's my next question. This is sort of a litmus test of honesty for Chris Hahn of the Chris Hahn Show. Did Hillary Clinton lie on Fox News Sunday when she said James Comey didn't say she was a liar?
I'm not going to say she lied, but I wasn't happy with that answer. I don't think it was fully.
You're not going to say you lied. Well, let's go to Fox News. No. Listen, let's let our audience decide. I'm a fair person. This is her on Fox News Sunday.
In a congressional hearing on July 7th, Director Comey directly contradicted what you had told the public.
Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked classified on her emails either sent or received. Was that true?
That's not true.
Secretary Clinton said I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. Was that true?
Now, there was classified material emailed.
He directly contradicted what. Well, let me just. He not only directly contradicted what you said, he also said in that hearing that you were extremely careless and negligent.
Well, Chris, I looked at the whole transcript of everything that was said, and what I believe is, number one, I made a mistake not using two different email addresses. I have said that, and I repeat it again today. It is certainly not anything that I ever would do again. I take classification seriously. I relied on and had every reason to rely on the judgments of the professionals with whom I worked. And so in retrospect, maybe some people are saying, well, among those 300 people, they made the wrong call. At the time, there was no reason, in my view, to doubt the professionalism and the determination by the people who work every single day on behalf of our country.
So did she lie or not? Because James Comey said she lied 5 separate times.
I think that she was mincing words there, and in politics you can't do that.
Well, I didn't ask if she was mincing words. I asked you if she lied. Did she lie?
I don't think she lied. I think she was parsing words.
So when she said she only used.
Good thing this isn't about her. Good thing this election's about somebody else.
No,
it would have been horrible had this guy not run off the rails always.
Dr. Jasser, what is your take on this deal with Iran?
I have to tell you, it is amazing to me, Sean, that folks like Chris can just sit back and try to split hairs about a ransom when the bottom line is, let me lay out the facts just for a second. Over 90% of the terrorism committed against the West is committed by Sunni radicals. Why? Because of the economics, because of the monies that flow from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, Dubai. The Daily Caller reported today that the Clinton Foundation was taking tens of millions from a Sharia foundation. So what does that do? It radicalizes Muslims in the West. So now that we're opening up economics, this clip you just played from Hillary, her saying, well, it's going to open up the economy. That's going to open the floodgates of Shia terrorism. So the bottom line, call it a ransom, call it whatever you want. The financial flow, the opening up of, this isn't about regime change anymore. She's responsible for regime development. These are not our allies. Our allies are in the prisons of Iran. That money is going to be used to continue a genocide in Syria, to bolster Hezbollah. So we can split hairs about whether, yes, I think the money was made to release our prisoners. It's un-American. But the bottom line is 42 national security experts signed a letter this week calling upon the Obama administration to tell Boeing not to invest in Iran because that's only going to bolster the theocrats and the enemies of America, and stand by as Shiite terrorism starts flowing into the West, much more so than it has in the past.
Which also has every Sunni country in a state of panic right now, which may not actually end up being a bad thing as they have aligned themselves closer with Israel, and I could actually see the emergence of a new alliance in the Middle East that would include Israel, Egypt, Jordan, the Saudis, and others to stand against the hegemony that, well, then why did Hillary Clinton, all right, I agree. Then tell me why Hillary Clinton took $25 million. Why did the Clinton Foundation take $25 million? Why did they take $10 million from Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, why does the United States do any business with Saudi Arabia?
All right, wait, Chris, I asked you about Clinton.
Yeah, well, is the money bad? They're a world power right now, and quite frankly, she shouldn't be taking that money from them.
Oh, so
neither should the United States. We shouldn't be dealing with
all
them.
All right, wait, stop. So Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation taking up to $25 million from the Saudis, and taken up to $10 million from the Saudis for their library, you're saying is wrong. Why didn't Hillary, she's never been on record criticizing their horrible treatment of women, the execution of gays and lesbians, the fact that they're bigoted and wouldn't allow the building of a Jewish temple or a Christian church. Why does she never criticize them?
She has been on record about their treatment of women.
No.
She has been on record for their treatment of women several times.
No.
Starting in 1996.
Okay, show me the quote.
Hold on a second. Actually, let me correct you. The Clinton Foundation has a project called No Ceilings about women. If you look at what they've spent money on, none of it includes the Muslim world. It's all in Africa, China, maybe one project in Afghanistan, but surprise, surprise, no projects in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Qatar, Egypt, where the source of Sharia extremism against women is. They happen to turn a blind eye, so they're getting a lot for that money that the Islamists dump into the Clinton Foundation.
Argument from me. I think our policy towards the Saudis needs to drastically change, and we have to insist that they respect human rights for all people, gays, lesbians, men, women, Christians, Jews, Muslims, whatever. But to say that she's the only offender, Trump has built things in Dubai, has built things with the Saudis, has used their money as well. So there's a lot of blame to go around here on both sides of the aisle, and it's up to us to be advocating to get them, both parties, to just cut ties with the Saudis. We don't need their oil anymore. We don't need to be kowtowing to their policies. It's time for serious change over there.
Well, I'm with you. I've been saying that for years. I've been critical of Haley Barbour taking $500,000 from the Saudis. I've been critical of Trump's operations over there in Dubai.
Yep.
I've been wanting him to declare that should not be done. But the bottom line is you can't say that money to Iran has no impact, or money from Iran or Boeing investing has no impact, and then on the other hand say that it does have an impact and we need to change that with the Saudis.
At the end of the day, the Hague was going to make the United States pay that money back. This was a contract that was done in the 70s. They started the proceedings.
The contract was with the Pahlavis. It was not with the Khomeinis. If anything, the Pahlavi family today is working for democratic change in Iran. They have a democracy movement that money should have gone to the Green Revolution, not to back to the Khomeinis, who now have taken that money from the original folks that we dealt with in 79.
And Doctor, that's all well and good, but the Hague was going to force us to pay it to the state of Iran. So this was a settlement that had to happen. It was going to happen. It's a shame that it happened. I agree with you. I don't like them getting that money, but it was going to happen because that's what happens.
And the fact that it happened on the same day, Zuhdi Jasser, is just mere coincidence.
It is not coincidence. It is what happens when you bend over backwards to please the thugs and the tribal leaders of the Middle East. We've gone into appeasement. We've lost control of Syria. We've lost control of Libya and Iran. They see that we are a paper tiger. We no longer have any influence in the Middle East, and they're continuing to push and push as the Shiite crescent now extends from Iraq. We've lost control of Iraq. And this is what happens when we're weak. I can tell you, being from a family that escaped the oppression of the Assad regime in the 70s, I can tell you that the appeasement does not work, and they will continue to push buttons. Now, the nuclear agreement that she was saying was such a great thing, turns out it wasn't 15 years. It's actually 10 to 11, with an earlier breakout time than we thought. So all of this is just complete smoke and mirrors, and we were taken to the cleaners by the Obama administration.
And we've been taken to the cleaners by the Iranian Ayatollahs, too, and they're laughing at us, as they always do. All right, that's the Chris Hahn of the Chris Hahn Show, supporting Hillary predictably, as he always does.
Taking calls tonight, Sean.
I can't wait. I'll be the first one in.